Never mind.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
That's my fault.
Okay, there you go. Sorry.
So good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:04. We'll call our meeting to order for August 4th. The meeting will be live streamed on the Rio Blanco County YouTube channel. So if we could do the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion to approve the agenda for August 4th without any changes.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve our agenda as is. If you would please call our roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Alrighty, so moving on to our line item number 3. Do we have anyone here to do public comments in general? Okay. Alrighty, anyone online to do public comments? I don't know who we have on the phone. But I assume they're not doing public comment. Could we ask who is on the phone, please? Just make sure they're public comment.
This is Betty Kraft. I'm on the phone.
Perfect. Thank you, Betty. All righty. So we will move on to our consent agenda then, and would entertain a motion there.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the below listed items on the consent agenda. Payroll management report for July 17th, 2026. Payroll management report for July 31st, 2026. And minutes July 21st, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
So a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Would you please call the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All righty. We will wait for Mr. Leaf.
Yes. He's on his way.
All righty, we will wait for him momentarily here to begin our public hearing.
Madam Chair, you can continue with your agenda and then go
Okay.
back if you'd like.
Okay, so just move on through our,
If you'd like.
start the public hearing. I bet he'll.
No, not the public hearing.
Okay,
But you have action items, you have a previously tabled item,
oh, so we could do that.
if you would like.
Okay. All right, while we are waiting, let's move on to our tabled matters. If we could have a motion on line item number 1 of tabled matters.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve contract for services for Taylor Consulting LLC for child welfare casework services for Rio Blanco County Department of Human Services.
So my question is, do we need to table this one more time? Because we don't have
We do
some
need
pieces
to.
of it.
Okay, so
So that dies for lack of a second,
okay.
Madam Secretary. You can
So
just
I'm-
dies for lack of a second.
Okay.
So I'm going to make a motion that we table up the contract for services with Taylor Consulting LLC for child welfare casework services for Rio Blanco County Department of Human Services. How long do we need to table it?
Can we have it by August 18th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Until August 18th.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to table the contract with Taylor's Consulting LLC until August 18th. If you would please call our roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All righty. Hello, Mr. Leaf.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm-
He's been in the
He's
sunshine
spicy.
since time, but it's dark, glasses are dark.
I sliced up some jalapenos and then rubbed my eyes with it. Sting back. Oh my
no.
gosh, it kind of hurt,
Oh,
Sorry.
but I'm good.
Okay, very good. So, we will jump back to our public hearings. We would like to do a public hearing on the application for the Avery minor subdivision, PSUB 26 0003. So if I could have a motion to open the public hearing, please.
Madam Chair, I move to open the public hearing for PSUB 26 0003 for the Avery Minor subdivision.
I'll second that motion.
I have a motion and a second to open the hearing. So if you would please call our roll.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so with that, we have our hearing is open and like to have Leaf make our presentation if you would please, sir.
Madam Chair, I got some handouts. I always come bring gifts. Just a copy of the latest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. The latest and greatest plat. Hit my head on that last week. Yeah. I got a mark up here.
Not doing good.
I'll tell you what, this room and I. So I will open up with my staff report. We had a applicant submit an application to create basically 5 lots of from 26 acre, not basically they are 26 acre parcel of ground. Lots 1 through 5. The largest one will be lot 4 at 9.6 acres. And the smallest will be lot 1 at 2 acres, just over 2 acres. Let me see, they abut County Road 115 up above Lake Avery, or Big Beaver Reservoir as it's officially called. We sent out referral agency requests. We received a notice from the county treasurer stating that the taxes had been paid in full. No other than one, no other referral agencies had a response. The one that we did have a response from was the Division of Water Resources. They authored a letter on June 11th of 26 this year, and they stated that due to the over appropriation of the White River, the wells that had been previously approved are now going to be subject to an augmentation plan prior to them being drilled. That doesn't stop the subdivision in that Rio Blanco County allows wells and or cisterns for potable water supply. So in this case, they can do cisterns and probably will, but I believe the applicant will move forward with the well progress or drilling once this augmentation plan gets put in place, if and when, I should say. So, and Betty, do we have Betty on the line?
She is
Okay.
online.
I will defer to her after I am complete and let her discuss that in more detail as she is the expert. Again, we had really no negative referral agency responses. We had a planning commission meeting on July 9th. There were 4 members present. It was voted in favor, 4 in favor, 0 opposed, with one condition that we put a note on the plat stating that well or cistern potable water supply. With that, staff recommends approval to the Board of County Commissioners. And that note has been put on the plat. So I don't know if it's the one that you have, but the final copy in front of me, it is there,
Yep, it's
Under-
on here.
county plat
Thank you.
notes.
Okay. So any questions for Leaf before we go to Betty? Seeing none. Betty, thank you for joining us. Do you want to give us a little bit of update and so if the permits were, dates of our permits and if they were before the May deadline? then why the need for augmentation?
Sure. Well, first off, I'd like to say thank you to Lee. He did a great presentation as always, and no stone unturned. But yeah, so with the over appropriation of the White River, wells are becoming a lot more difficult and tricky situation. So John did go out and get well permits for each of these lots prior to doing the subdivision. And now that we're subdividing it, we cannot use those wells for each of those lots because it's a new subdivision. So the idea is John can keep those well permits going without drilling them until we get a county augmentation plan or something in the works that would allow him to then go ahead and drill the wells to be augmented. So until that point, as Leaf commented, we put a note on the plat for a cistern and or well to allow these lots to have a cistern for their potable water source until we get to the point we have a countywide augmentation plan if we ever get there. So I hope that makes sense.
Okay, so it's because of the subdivision is after the date, and even though the wells were there, the subdivision was not in place. Am I understanding that right?
Correct. And I should clarify, there is one well on the property that is in place that is fine to be continued to use as is. And I think I was going to double check, but I think it can serve a couple of residences, maybe up to 3. But yeah, the way it works is we went over appropriated May of last year, and any subdivision that was created after that point, after May, has to have augmentation water. If the subdivision was created after 1972, they have to do the in-house use only if they apply for a well.
Okay.
And so this one is augmentation is the only option outside of systems.
Okay. All right, just making sure I had it straight in my head, so thank you.
Yep, absolutely. It's confusing.
So Betty, can you hear me?
Yes.
Did you address the state with the 10-year ago subdivision that had 3 lots approved by the county but not recorded?
I did discuss that with the state, and they said since it wasn't recorded, they don't accept it as an approved subdivision.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else? Okay, so with that being said, anything else from our applicant? You guys have anything else you would like to add?
We'll get through those hurdles, I assume, one day.
All right.
New bad word, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I would like to ask, is there any public comment on this topic? Not seeing any here in the room, not seeing any additional folks online. So we will move on, and we will not have any public comment here forward. So,
Madam Chair,
yes.
would you please entertain a motion to close public comment?
We didn't open public comment, so I wasn't doing those. Let's see. So go ahead if you want.
Madam Chair, I move to approve going out of the public hearings for public comments. Because we didn't make a motion to go in public comment. I only did one for public hearing.
And we had decided not to do those
Separately.
fill-ins in there.
Okay,
I was just making it clear
my
when
apologies.
we can and when we can't make comments. So,
But
Okay.
shouldn't I go out of public hearing?
yes, we are.
Make a motion to go.
So you have a couple of items on public
Okay.
hearing. So I wouldn't close your public hearing because then you have to reopen the public hearing and close it, then reopen it.
I was specific to the PSUB, and we have a different number for the next
Okay. And
one.
open and close, open and close.
We'll keep working. We'll do it better next time.
We'll get better.
Working through this. Yeah.
Okay, so, so I would entertain the motion then, to close the hearing, and then we will take action on the resolution.
So Madam Chair, I make a motion that we close the public hearing for Avery Minor Subdivision PSUB 26-0003.
Second.
A motion and a second to close the hearing on the Avery Minor Subdivision. And if you would please call roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Alrighty, so with that, then I would entertain a motion for approval of the resolution.
Madam Chair, I move to approve resolution number 2026-22, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners, Rio Blanco County, Colorado, approving the Avery Minor Subdivision PSUB 26-0003.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second to approve the resolution number 2026-22. Would you please call roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so now I would entertain a motion for our second public hearing.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we open the public hearing for Avery Minor Subdivision rezoning.
I second.
Okay. Motion and a second to open the public hearing for the minor Avery subdivision rezoning PRZ 26-0001. Would you please call roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so that being, if you would continue on, Mr. Leaf.
Yes, ma'am. We are, the applicant has submitted an application to rezone the previously approved Avery Minor subdivision from agricultural to leisure recreational zoning. It has, by land use regulation, anything under 35 acres when subdivided, we need to rezone it. See if I can say this eloquently. We have to rezone it to something that will suitable for the use, which is residence. So leisure recreational or rural residential, in this case, leisure recreational.
Okay. Help me understand what leisure recreation really is.
Yes, Madam Chair. Leisure recreational simply limits the use of the lot residentially to a specific time, so not time of year, but length of time. So you can't live there permanently 24/7, 360. You can only live there seasonally, for lack of a better term, or in a time frame.
So why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just rezone it to residential?
I don't know that I can answer that.
What they applied for? Or?
Yes, sir. Is there a reason, may I ask the applicant, is there a reason that you guys specifically chose leisure rec?
Oh, I didn't choose it. I think you guys picked it out. Yeah. The only thing that I was thinking of was the tax ramifications of the different classification. Agricultural obviously is the best, and that's what it's been.
Sure.
Because they run sheep on it.
Mm-hmm.
But as things progress, if somebody, apparently it's the use that gets taxed. So it's going to stay the same tax-wise, I think, until somebody builds a house, and then it will be taxed higher, obviously. But I don't know. I can't answer that either.
I can tell you this. There are places like Elk Creek PUD, which have chosen the underlying zoning of that PUD to be leisure recreational so that it doesn't become a permanent residence. I don't understand why, and I don't know. I'm sure they have their reasoning, but that is one.
Yeah, I can think of several reasons.
Sure.
I would think that I was just curious when.
Like
But
pros and cons.
exactly. But to the applicant's point, it does not affect the tax dollars. That's taxed on use, not something.
So I'm sorry, I just.
It's okay.
I guess I'm learning.
Mm-hmm.
If it's recreational, does that bar them from so much time being there, or do they just have to move out one day a year, or is it the winter, or what is it?
I honestly don't know the answer to that. I'd have to look that up and get back with you. I know it's a specific set amount of time. So it might be 90 days, 120 days. I don't really know what it is off the top of my head.
And so the real reason for doing it is what? I mean, like Lon Denny's house down there, they live there year round. And if somebody chooses to live a neighbor to them year round, it's going to be different.
Yes, it will be a little bit different leisure recreational.
So should we do it? I mean, why not just leave it the way it is?
We can just come back at a later time if it doesn't work and rezone.
Yeah,
I
Are you available?
think. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Betty. You're on, ma'am.
Sorry about that. And a lot of the thought and reasoning, I guess, in my mind of thinking leisure recreational was the correct route to go was the fact that it is an off-grid home site, I'll call it, and more of the, I guess, cabin mentality. But Lisa's correct. We can rezone it at any time, or we could table it and come back with rural residential if you wanted. But, that was kind of my mindset, was just the off-grid part of it sell better into the category for leisure recreation.
John.
Okay. Questions from either one of you?
How much do we have zoned like that in Rio Blanco County?
Not a whole lot. Like I say, Elk Creek is. There are some smaller parcels upriver that are zoned like that, but not a whole lot, Commissioner Aaron. I'm sure that somebody may have their own mindset and choose leisure rec for some specific reason, maybe just to prevent full-time residents on a parcel. And it might behoove the neighbors as well, but I don't really know the number off the top of my head. It's very small.
Madam Attorney?
Thank you. I wonder if it has to do with the master plan. Based on your master plan and comp plan, it might be within that area which is designated. I don't know offhand, but it could be that that's why.
He would be able to tell us.
Yeah, we don't have any areas specifically designated as some sort of criteria for residents, permanent and or otherwise. I just believe that there are, to Betty's point, a lot of people don't want full-time residences. It's better just to use it more of a cabin or temporary.
So then if we're done with staff presentation, I welcome John as the applicant. Your thoughts. Would you like to proceed? Would you like for us to table it and more discussions? Do you understand?
If it's up in the air right now, I would say, somebody might want to live up there year round, although it's off the grid, to your point. But I don't see the difference. We might as well just leave it residential. I mean, make it residential rather than agricultural, rather than leisure residential.
Can we then table this and come back to it with a zoning change proposal?
Yes, did it go through planning commission?
Actually, yes, it would have to go through planning commission.
It would have to go through planning commission again, but I don't know if this is helpful, Madam Chair, if I may. So I just pulled up your code. Leisure recreation has a minimum lot area of 5 acres, and rural residential is a minimum of 2. I don't know if that played in the decision. Did that play in your decision?
Not at all. It very well could, and perhaps maybe what we should do at the behest of the board is simply change the zoning request today, if we may, to rural residential, which really won't change it that much other than allow it for the lot size.
Can we do that? Since
Can
it's
we do
been
that?
through planning, we can make an adjustment to that? Could we do that now, or would it be better to?
Just would have to go through commission again. Planning commission again.
So if it went through planning commission and we're making such a substantial change, it would have to go back through planning commission.
Yep, if you want to change the zoning, I don't know what makes substantial. So.
So I guess what I'm thinking, we've approved the subdivision, but it would make sense that we come back, because I'm hearing you say you'd really rather it be residential. So we could come back with that at a later date.
Okay, I just think the least restrictive is the better way to go.
Okay.
And if somebody's gotta get out of there for a period of time. if they-
They're welcome to, but they don't have to.
Right,
Makes sense to me.
You're still good. The plat has been
okay.
approved.
So it's either gonna be rural residential or
Leisure
Recreational.
recreational. Yes.
leisure recreation.
Yes, sir.
So we,
I think you're good to take the chairperson's recommendation and just rezone it at a later time. Right now, we'll take the plat and we'll rezone it at a later time.
okay, so, but you could leave it the way it is as leisure residential.
Sure.
And then if somebody wanted to change that when they build a big house and
Yep.
they decide to stay there, then they could come and do that as well,
That
right?
is correct.
You make the call.
My recommendation, well, I don't make recommendations, I'm sorry.
And make recommendations, sir.
My recommendation would be to rezone the parcels that are larger than 2.5 acres to rural or leisure recreational as submitted. The other two, or 2 or 3, I can't remember, would then revert back to rural residential because they are smaller than 35 acres in a approved subdivision. And then he can come back, the applicant, pardon me, can come back at a later time and rezone the leisure recreational one to rural residential. So my recommendation would be to move forward as presented today.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So
Your thoughts?
And then
if I understand you correctly, at first you wanted to do them all rural, leisure rares, but there's a couple of them that don't qualify.
right, they would be
So we're gonna have to leave those.
rural residential. Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'm okay with it. I don't have, if that's what you guys want, I'm okay with it.
So my question is though, so we're thinking we would go ahead and approve them as leisure recreational, but they really don't qualify. So 2 of them don't. So
I thought they were currently zoned as ag.
right.
They're currently zoned as ag, correct?
So
So
You're-
how was it presented to the planning commission?
The planning commission, what was presented to the planning commission, that the lots that fall within the land use regulation allow to be rezoned to leisure rec would go that route. That's what they approved. And what we're saying today is, well, you know what we're saying today. So that's how it was approved, and the planning commission voted 4-0 to approve that. To move forward with the leisure recreational rezoning where applicable. Maybe that would be a cleaner way to say it.
And that applies to the 2 smaller lots, not the big lots.
The 3 larger lots, not the 2 smaller lots. The 2 smaller lots don't qualify for leisure recreational due to size.
Okay.
So the 3 larger lots would then go to leisure recreation.
So I'm gonna turn it, go
Okay.
ahead, and then I'll come back.
Okay, and I haven't like studied all of this, and so obviously Lee can kind of correct me. It does look like though in rural residential, you cannot have multifamily or townhouses. In leisure rec, you can. So your residential is expanded if you're in leisure rec, than if you were to just stay rural residential. You can still have single family in both. You can have 2 family in both. You can have group homes, manufactured homes, all of that, RVs, temporary living quarters. You can have all of that in both. It seems like, again, very quick review. The only difference on a residential is that you've got more opportunity to do multifamily and townhouses in leisure rec. You cannot do it in rural residential. So that
You
might,
can't do it in rural residential. Yeah. Well, let's leave it with, yeah, and then if somebody, there's more options. Not that anybody's gonna build apartment buildings up there, but we can leave it leisure rec. That's what she's saying.
Yes.
More
I'm
options.
saying you have more options. I'm not.
Okay. And that applies to all 5 lots then.
No, just the 3 lots that are larger than
Oh.
2.5 acres.
Then they can only live there a certain amount of time.
Leave-
So
Can I make a suggestion that we table this? and Come back at us.
That's a wonderful suggestion.
I think there's a lot of clarification for everybody. So if we can table it, then you can all really look at those nuances and get it figured out
Instead of,
and go from there and come back with the presentation.
and everybody understands
So,
what's going on.
yeah,
Yeah,
that,
that's great.
okay,
We're not in any hurry.
okay, that's good.
But-
You don't have water anyway, right?
And Madam Chair, if I can just
Yes.
make one more suggestion to the
Yes.
board, but you can give it to the applicant, because I can't give legal advice to the applicant. You might want to check with the assessor's office too on what that taxing difference might be. As part of this consideration. But that's my advice to you all.
Okay, so yes, so it would make sense that you not only decide all those other nuances, but really look at your tax piece as to what difference that makes, which way you go as well. And make sure you understand all of those in your decision if you would like.
Okay.
So, okay, with that being said, if there are no other comments, from all, we didn't do the public comment, so we didn't ask for that, did I? Okay, I don't see anyone in the room for public comment. Is there? I don't see any online for public comment. So with that being said, I will close the public comment period, and we will not be taking any more public comment. So if we could, any more discussion from the commissioners? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Madam Chair, I moved to close the public hearing for the Avery Minor subdivision rezoning PRZ 26-0001.
Second that motion.
A motion and a second to close the public hearing on the Avery Minor subdivision rezoning. Would you please call our roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
Okay, thank you. So based on our conversation, I would entertain a motion to table this discussion. Do we, or is, yeah, because we have to table it, but you want a specific date.
Yeah.
And that means but it needs to go back to the planning commission.
So
Potentially.
help me out with the date.
Yeah, so what's our date we're looking for?
Well, potentially. I mean, if they wind up staying with it, then you guys would just move forward. So I don't know how much time the applicant needs to kind of investigate the options.
It'll be how much time he needs, but the leave's gotta take it to planning commission,
Maybe.
maybe. Well, I think we should assume that has to happen.
See, that's what, if you're in no hurry, I would like to, if we table it to 3 months out and they get ready for it in a month, can we bring it up sooner?
No, I would do sooner and then table it again if you need to, rather than put it out that far.
Can I table it until it comes back from the planning commission?
If it goes through planning commission, that's the only problem. If it doesn't go through planning commission, it's kind of an awkward motion. What if you were to, I'm sorry, I should have said that more eloquently, I apologize. Potentially you could just table it to your next MECR meeting. That should be enough time to at least evaluate the options and then determine if it has to go to planning commission, and then if you have to table it again, you can do that. Okay. Would that be appropriate, Commissioner Overton? Does that work for you?
I'm okay with that. I guess we can just keep tabling it.
I don't want to do that too much, but we'll do it once. So I'm looking for the date. Okay, so your date
We could
is,
just go with it the way it is and then worry about changing the zoning down the road if ever comes up.
They could if they want to.
I think I would like to give you those 30 days to contemplate that.
Okay.
And then
Yeah,
in
then
30
we can-
days, we'll be back here and then you can make that, you can give Leaf and all,
Okay,
that
yeah, once
direction.
we digest it.
I say, you need, I personally feel like you need to digest a little bit, all the
Okay.
things that you just got thrown at you.
And on top of that, talking to the assessor about that tax.
Yes. Okay, yeah, I will.
So I would suggest that we table it to the 8th or the 22nd. Does the 22nd sound right, Vicki? Or
Thinking
the-
September 1st is our first meeting.
Oh, it is,
First-
you're right. So
first
it would be
Tuesday.
the September 15th, September 1st, sorry. September 1st is what I would recommend, sir.
Okay. All right. Madam Chair, I make a motion that we table the approval of resolution number 2026-23, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Rio Blanco County, Colorado, approving the Avery Minor Subdivision rezoning PRZ-26-0001 until September 1st.
I second the motion.
Have a motion and a second to table resolution 2026-3 until September 1st. Would you please call our roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Think about all those pieces and parts, and I know you already have, and Leaf's given you good thoughts in the past, just a little bit more information. So,
Thank you.
okay, thank you, Leaf.
You're welcome. If I've seen you have to move.
Yeah. Yeah, jalapeno, that hurt.
Sorry.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are you headed down there?
All right. So since we did take care of our tabled item earlier, I would entertain a motion on our action item number 1.
My turn, right? Sure. Madam Chair, I move to approve the adoption of the amended and restated Rio Blanco County Strategic Plan.
I'll second that motion.
A motion and a second to to adopt our amended and restated strategic plan. Does anybody happen to have that? I apologize, I meant to have that with me for the exact updates that we had.
I can,
You
it's
have it?
in your folder,
Yes.
and I can go print it out if you'd like it. All three
Okay,
printed
I was
out.
just gonna mention it so public knew what we were doing, so my apologies, I will hurry for it quickly.
And I can print it if you'd like.
I should be able to do this quicker than I am. My apologies.
Race you. I'll print it. Get faster.
I had them highlighted.
I believe it's action item 1.
Yes. Alrighty, I would just like to say I'm really excited about how much progress that we are making on our strategic plan. Looking real quickly here at what we have added to it. And that is there were 3 things. we updated the why did I think of that? Okay, so the develop and sustain a collaborative community planning. So that is our, thank you. That is, we are looking into hosting community-wide discussions, roundtables, so forth, to get a picture of what people want our county to look like anywhere in the next 30 to 50 years. So working on towards that. The other thing is really focusing on artificial intelligence, learning how that can help our staff, making sure we stay safe with it, but that we use it to our advantage. And then also some leadership training, as well as looking at our overall structure of staffing and so forth. Just making sure we got, where do we have too much on somebody and where is it the other way? So looking at that overall picture of our staffing. And so that would be, we're considering looking at that in 27. So those are the 4 things that we updated. So that being said, we have a motion and a second to approve that county strategic plan. And I would ask for roll call.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
Action item number 2. Please.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve the ratification of a letter of support for Pioneers Medical Center Rural Hospital Transformation Program application.
I second.
So a motion and a second to approve the Pioneer Medical Center Rural Health letter of support for Pioneer Medical Center. Would you please call the roll?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
I want to add.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
So I'm actually really glad to see that that Pioneers asked for this letter of support, and I'm glad that they're applying for this grant. The one thing I want to mention is we always hear everything negative about HR1. This money actually came out of HR1 to our rural healthcare, and so I'm glad that they're applying for it. And I did read through the letter. So if you can make sure my name gets attached as signature on there, because I do agree with it and want to make sure that we support them in any way in applying for this. I know I forwarded this also on to Rangeley District Hospital, but I haven't seen anything come through for them. But just wanted to say this was a positive thing out of HR1.
Oh, very good. Thank you for adding that.
Yes.
Now if we would call the roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose?
All righty. Moving on to line item number 3.
Madam Chair, I move to ratify the Board of County Commissioners letter of support and the clerk and recorder's submission on the Electronic Recording Technology Board grant application requesting $21,798.60 for recording system maintenance, public access services, and replacement of recording scanning equipment.
I'll second that motion.
Motion and a second to approve the letter of support on the clerk and recorder submission. Any other discussion?
I would like to just say thank you very much for getting it done so quickly. It was dropped in my lap, and then I dropped it on her lap, and then she dropped it on your lap. So I very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. So with that, if you would call our roll, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Sorry.
All righty. Our action item number 4. Our attorney had indicated that we have she has some information she would like to share with us on this one and asked that we go to executive session. So do you want to finish up with the rest of the business and then we'll come back to executive session?
I think that's a good idea. We have Carmen here who's on Board of Social Services
Okay.
that's coming up, and to not
Okay.
waste her time, I think that would be good,
Okay,
Madam Chair.
I would like to just move on then to resolutions and we come back to that one. Right, I'm understanding that right. Alrighty, so moving on to our resolutions. I would entertain a motion on that resolution number 1.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to approve for the approval of resolution number 2026-24, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Rio Blanco County, Colorado, adopting the Rio Blanco County Housing Needs Assessment.
I second.
Alrighty, a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2026-24. Any additional conversation?
I think Leaf did this, correct? And he did it himself, and I want to applaud him for doing that. A lot of people were hiring this done, and Leaf was able to do that himself and did a really good job. Got some compliments, so I appreciate that.
Compliments by the state.
Yeah.
They were impressed and said no other county had really done that. They were hiring consultants, and so he took that task on himself, and I know he saved us some money, so I do appreciate it.
Did a good job.
Yes.
Great, and echoed. So if you would call our,
I was
I'm
gonna
sorry.
say, if you needed Leaf to come up, I believe he's still with previous applicants, but if you don't need him,
I was comfortable with it.
Okay.
The application.
I just want to make a quick comment that one of the things that really surprised me about that is we have between 20 and 25% vacancy in our housing. That's unbelievable.
Really?
Now that he is back.
I'm discussing your housing.
and you
Sorry.
missed all the compliments.
Bless my heart.
Thank you for doing that, Leaf.
You're welcome.
Put that on and do a good job.
You're welcome, and thank you. It's my honor.
So the question is kind of that we did note that it shows 25%.
That's just under 25% vacancy in housing in Rio Blanco County.
So how is that?
Based on the data that we received from the state demographer's office and Chaffel. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so do you think, is that, at least, is it, how do I say it, habitable housing?
Inhabitable.
No, it would be the question, because we've got some places, I mean, we've talked about the number of places that, let's say, asbestos and stuff, and so nobody's living in them, but nobody will tear them down, nobody will fix them because of the cost. Do you think those are included in that, do you suppose?
I absolutely have no idea. That's a great question.
That's okay, I mean, I don't expect you to follow up, but I was hoping.
I don't know. There's a lot of speculation there, but to be dead honest, you know, the gentleman, the people at DOLA were very kind and helped me through this process. They pointed me to the folks that had the data. And then, of course, at the time I knew a Chafa employee. And so
You did.
I worked closely with them to get the right data that I thought that pertained to our area. And then we just mashed it into the big formula and it spit it out. I don't honestly know. I don't honestly know if it takes into account the rehab cost of a particular property, or I believe it's based a lot on zoning again. So, that's residential. Let's add that in. Site address points, we used a lot of GIS data to go back through and say there is a physical address there, meaning something is there.
Okay.
So It was a combination of data points that produced the raw data.
Right, no, I understand. It just seems odd because we talk about, we don't have much for people to rent or buy. So it just seemed odd that it was that high of non-occupied, so that's.
And a shot in time.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is a discussion for some other time, but if in fact those are places that are uninhabitable and the county could do something to help that situation, I would really be interested in exploring that.
Absolutely. I would actually enjoy entertaining perhaps someday a work session on that.
Okay.
And we can maybe collectively come up with some guidance from you guys to say, let's look at it this way.
That would be awesome to have maybe have our realtors and our builders and anybody and just kind of have a discussion about what is it that's there that needs, what do we need to do? So.
We can help our citizens get better housing.
Absolutely. And I firmly believe too that we have, with our attorney's expertise on that, we might be able to even dig a little deeper from a different angle even.
Okay.
That I did not look at.
I like what you did. I mean, I greatly appreciate that and thought it was very good. So, okay, we just had
Thank you
a couple
very
of
much.
questions, but yeah, good job. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
So, motion on the table then to approve that resolution of 2026-24. So will you please call our roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, so with that, I would, thank you, Leaf, appreciate it. We'll let you off the hook this time.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
I will call you again, I promise.
Okay. I'll go away.
Wash my eyes out some more.
So we have to have a motion for recess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion to recess our Board of Commissioners for the other.
Madam Chair, I move to recess the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of Social Services at 1:56.
I second that motion.
Motion and a second to recess as the County Commissioners Board and convene as the Board of Social Services at 1:56. If you would please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Alrighty, so if we could have our Department of Human Services update, ma'am.
How's everybody doing today?
Great, how are you?
Good. Okay. All right, well, we have had a lot of things happening for a while with the state and all our different changes and stuff like that. Right now, we are still kind of gathering different information on different things, so I don't have a lot of solid information, but I'll continue to keep you all posted. Some things I wanted to touch base on is we just did our core plan, so this is our third year of the core plan. That's what helps us provide funding to get providers for our families. We have county design services, so we can have some of our caseworkers kind of assist with providing support while they were watching the kiddos and stuff, like supervised visits is what we call them. Next year, that will be brought up in front of you guys because this is the last year they do it in 3-year intervals, or we just kind of sign off on it and stuff. So next year, that will be something that I bring to you all for signature. That is one of the other funding sources that our 80-20 was decreased a little bit this year, and like some of our other type of funding pools, but our 100% remains the same. And then we talked to last year about the child support position. So I reached out to Daryl, and he is supplying some information. He did I don't know if we want to talk about that now or if we have to do that in a different session, like a work session, or is that or something we can talk about?
I would say yes, you need to talk to these two about that.
Okay, so I did reach out to Daryl. Like I said, he did.
Sorry to interrupt. Let them know who Daryl is.
Okay.
They may not know who Daryl is.
Yeah, sorry. Daryl is from Garfield County. He's the one that kind of is over the child support. Yeah, and he'll give us like numbers and like how our case count and stuff like that. So he did say for 2027, if we did decide we wanted to go on with the IGA, they're more than willing. They don't see a reason at this point why we can't. We do have 147 cases, and he thinks that it will increase to 75,000 a year. And that's due to them having staff increases. So just a little bit of that, and we can,
What is it now?
it's child support.
No, I know their amount.
It is 60, I believe it's 60.
You don't need to get exact.
Yeah, it's in this like 65,000 right now. Yeah. So that's something we can discuss further, but that's the information that I've received currently. And we are continuing on with the HR1 Medicaid training and funding for the training. So HR1 is one of, as you all know, is a big thing, especially with our department. So we would have continued like training for our staff and for like Lisa and Megan, just so they know all the different changes within our program areas. And this one would be specific to Medicaid. And that's something I will discuss further once I get all the information. If we want to do like ask for different, what am I trying to say, people to come in to train us, or if we want to do it just basically us and our lead kind of assist us with that. I think it's an RFP. What do they call it? I always forget those acronyms.
What's for proposal?
Yes, thank you. So I did ask for a list of names from the state. So, and we are hiring somebody new. They will be starting next Monday. We're pretty excited. She comes to us with years of experience as a caseworker. So we're pretty excited. Yeah. Mm-hmm. For child welfare, yes.
Okay.
So,
And located.
they're going to be more on the rangeland. Yes.
Excellent.
So we're excited.
A local person or somebody that's coming to be here?
They live in Dinosaur, and they'll
Okay.
just be, yeah. So it'd be great.
Very good.
Yeah. I don't think I have anything else that I could think of. Get some questions.
So the only other thing, just to let you know, and Rose talked to us about this briefly yesterday,
Okay.
is one of your core contracts that you're looking into
Uh-huh.
with the possibility of somebody in-house that
Oh, okay.
would be covering that. She thought it would be beneficial if we bring both of you guys before the board so that we can have that discussion of that contract and the concerns that Employers Council had, that I know I've met with the two of you,
Mhm.
but she also wanted the other two commissioners
Okay.
involved in that conversation so that we can really kind of flush out, is this doable, is it not?
Okay.
And making sure that we're not putting the county in a liable situation. I know that, Laura raised some really good questions when she had called me, and that's when I had directed her to call Employers Council, get a little bit more information. And then I had talked to you guys. I've talked to you guys, but these guys haven't had that opportunity.
Okay.
So I think it would be good if we all got together and had that. So I don't know if that's at the next BOCC meeting, or we bring them before us, or do you have a suggestion?
My only suggestion, however you choose to do it, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Is that you do it in an executive session for personnel matters so that you can fully flesh out without it being public, because it is a personal matter. So however you want to do it, we could do it at your Rangeley meeting.
Okay.
If you'd like, we can have that executive session. We don't need to be present. We can be present. We don't need to be present, however you all direct. But I strongly advise it being done in an executive session.
Thank you. So would that work for you to do it in Rangeley at our next meeting?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can chit chat with Michaela to see, or,
Okay.
yeah, if that would work for her too.
And then we can actually look at Kayla's review too. Okay. At the same time, because her review still needs to be done. So we could just do it all at once. So it'd actually be doable in executive session.
Okay, potentially. Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair, thank you. Yeah, it would be 2 executive sessions because one's not related to the other.
One's
And
contract, yeah.
And while I said that the administrator and I don't need to be present, you probably should HR in there as well for that first one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. All righty. Anything else you can think of?
There's a lot, but there's not a lot of answers to a lot.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much
There
going on,
is.
and especially in the SNAP world.
Yeah.
Almost a weekly meeting that
Mhm.
Carmen and I have to attend sometimes twice a week. And still trying to work through what the state's going to do to us. Or what they are able to do to us, I guess is really the question right now that we're all trying to figure out as counties. And so, Carmen and I have, we have a lot of meetings with that.
So
Yeah.
Thank you both for doing that, because I know that Rio Blanco County's on top of that more than some of the other counties are. But question I have is, are we going to get answers to that before 2027 budget?
You want a straight answer? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
So what does that do to us? Are they going to require us to come up with money in 2027? What is
So what I've asked Carmen to do with Lisa Heeman is to come up with some numbers, potential numbers of what the state's scenarios that the state is throwing at us, of what it possibly is going to cost our county. And so right now we have that in the conversation Carmen and I have had is let's put that in the 2027 budget just to make sure, even if we don't need it and the state does end up covering those costs, because the reality is the state is holding on to this string of we're going to get this waiver from the federal government. I think it's a long shot. I don't see it happening. And because HR 1's in effect, period, the end. But they keep hoping for this waiver. And I'm telling, I just don't see it happening. So for us to be proactive, we need to just put it in the budget and have it be a SNAP line item.
Well, the reason that I would be interested in the number, and if you have to put it in the budget to get that number, because I think the number will get us motivated to fight it.
Do you want to share the number, the 30%?
No.
please do.
So it's approximately, what was it, 60,000?
Yeah,
It was
something
a
like
little over
that.
60,000.
Yeah.
that would be coming. That's at the 30%. Did we do the scenario at the 40%, which is what the state keeps throwing at us?
Yeah, I don't think yet, but Lisa and I talked about that today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was over 60,000 that it's going to cost Rio Blanco County. So we do have those numbers that we've been playing with, just so that we are prepared. And actually tomorrow we're presenting information to the state.
Yes,
The different counties are.
I think so,
with their
yes.
numbers. So we are pushing back. We continue to push back on the state as counties. CCI has been leading that way with us. And so that's why we all pulled these numbers so that we could give real numbers to the state. This is what it is going to cost these counties.
Well, the comment that I would have is the more money we put in it, I believe we should have more say of how it's spent. And I think you should use that when you're pushing back at the state.
I would agree. One of the questions that was brought up, and I know I brought it up, is can a county push back on how much services they provide with that? And the answer is, so I actually looked it up because I did my research, and you can't. According to federal policy, you can't. So we have to go because the state is giving, it's like a grant, state's giving money and then it funnels down. And so because the state participates, we have to participate, unfortunately.
And this is SNAP. And remind me what all that pays for.
Food stamps, it's basically
Strictly food stamps.
Mhm.
And the qualifications for it, that's where it differs from the state level to the federal level.
that is the question we keep asking the state, as counties, is what is federal policy, what is state policy, and where don't they align? And we keep getting pushback from the state. They do not want to answer that question because there is legislation and there is policy that doesn't align with federal policy. And that's the one comment I hear over and over from the directors to the state is, do we align? Do we align? And the question every single meeting we're at, do we align? And they don't want to answer that. So the counties, the directors, the HSDA has taken it upon themselves, correct me if I'm wrong, the way that I've been hearing the directors talk, is they've kind of created their own little subgroup to look at those things. And I don't know where they're at with it. Do you know where they're at with that?
No,
They're still working.
Yeah.
There's a lot to shift through.
No, I'm sure there is, but I guess we'll see where it lands, obviously.
Mhm.
But if it's federal money, I think we stick with the federal guidelines, end of story.
Completely agree.
So
Ongoing battle.
Yes.
just sit around. Okay. All righty. Well, thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
I appreciate your time and all that you are doing for us and our citizens out there. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So I would entertain a motion to adjourn and come back to the OCC.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we adjourn the Board of Social Services and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners.
I second.
A motion and a second to adjourn as the Board of Social Services and reconvene as the BOCC. If you would please call the roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All righty. With that, do we have staff updates that we would like to hear from?
I believe we do. Reese, are you on?
Receive back here.
Back there, but I thought he was on earlier. Let me check.
Okay.
Let me check. Make sure he did.
He's coming.
Where'd he go?
He's either coming in here or heading out the back door.
Yeah, I got worried. Okay.
Thanks for
Right.
coming to get me.
Thank you, sir. No problem. Glad to have you.
A few updates from the world of natural resources. So last week, myself and Scott Robertson had our first WHAC, or Wild Horse Advisory Committee meeting.
That's a really good
I made that up
acronym.
myself. WHAC. So we met for the first time to kind of set standards, how often we want to meet. CDA clarified what the purpose of the group would be, which is primarily to provide guidance to CDA staff on how to further implement fertility control, but also evaluate fertility control. It's a very large committee. There's over 20 of us, including state staff. For now, we're just going to meet virtually. At this point, we're looking at bi-monthly, virtually bi-monthly, all virtual for now, for 3 to 4 hours. There is an appetite for some on the committee to meet monthly. I don't have that appetite, and I think CDA staff doesn't either. So hopefully it stays bi-monthly or moves to quarterly like most advisories to different commissions and agencies. So off of that, I guess, as you know, there's a gather taking place. I'm hoping to go out tomorrow myself with BLM, but I'm waiting to hear back from staff. I am receiving updates every day from BLM staff. That's mostly what I'm looking at there is the map. Where they're moving to, what road closures are going on, all of those things. I think Road and Bridge is receiving those updates as well. And I don't know to what extent, but Road and Bridge is helping BLM with some of the road closures. So we're coordinating back and forth with BLM as needed, and I have not heard anything thus far. So it sounds like everything's going well. Unfortunately, it's going to be hot for the next couple of weeks, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of precip on the horizon. So that's going to impact how long they can gather every day. Let's see here. Bison, yes, ma'am.
But before you leave that,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've got the link to the pages, but they've gathered 180 horses in the last 2 days.
Oh, they have. Okay.
It's always good to, I'll share that link to you.
Please do.
And
Is
so
that
we can track that. But
is
yep.
that their website?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Awesome.
BLM.gov, Peants Creek.
I'm sure that's in the updates that James has.
It's not.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not. I had to ask him for it specifically.
Okay, cool.
It's not in that.
Yes, I would like that link.
Yeah, they're concluding before noon at this point because it's so hot.
Because it's too
Because
warm.
once it reaches, I think it's 90 degrees or something. There's a specific temperature
Yeah.
that they have to stop. So it's dang hot. So I bet they're getting started in the mornings.
Okay, good deal. I might have an early morning tomorrow then.
You might.
Further bison update. I told you I went out with the group that's doing the range monitoring to inform management for CPW. Talking to CPW staff on this at the last commission meeting, we can probably expect some in-person meetings in the Rangeley area closer to this fall. I have been told that the group contracting monitoring will not have any role post collecting range site data. They're going to hand in their report to CPW staff, and then CPW staff is just going to use that to inform the management plan. So I think it's really important that we request to review that and look at that data, and hopefully they're willing to share it, especially if it's, going to be just a few short weeks of monitoring during one growing season. So one update I did get from CPW is it sounds like potentially the increased possibility for the tribes to be a part of some of these local conversations. I don't think we have an answer from the tribes yet, but it sounds like CPW is at least working on that and is talking with the tribes, and maybe there is a slight degree of appetite for the tribes to be around the same table as local stakeholders. So we'll see what actually comes to fruition there.
That's the CPW is advocating that?
I think it goes back to the meeting we had in Rangeley in 2025, where we had requested to CPW that we would like to work with the tribes versus it being separate. First, correct me where I'm wrong, but the tribes advocating for what they want in the management plan in this box and our community advocating in this.
And we want to meet together.
Yep.
Instead of let them do one in silo and we do ours in silo.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're hoping to sway them a little bit.
Well, and they've got some, because a lot of those bison are coming from the tribal grounds over there. So we need to be working with them and know what their plans are. If they're expanding numbers, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, well, the reason that I'm questioning this is, 4 years ago, they wanted to introduce bison and we went and testified and got it shut down. And they told us that they were gonna come back and do it legislatively, and they did it with the tribes.
Yep.
And so I was just curious why we would want to
We need to know what they're saying.
keep your enemies, how did they say that?
So have you had any conversations with county commissioners next door to us? Do you know any of those county
I
commissioners?
do not know any of those county commissioners, unfortunately. I could reach out to a couple of them and see if I can get a response.
That would be
I-
Grand and Utah County, right?
No, it would be Uinta.
Uinta, okay.
I'm still shocked that the tribe went along with this.
Well, I don't know that it's the tribes.
Oh.
I think I don't know if it was those tribes. I think
Yeah, I'm not
you
sure.
need to understand the makeup with the state.
Right, and I think that.
Because they have been very protective of those bison.
Well,
That anytime they cross that Utah border.
My understanding was the legislation used the tribe
Native
down
American.
farther south.
Yeah.
West in Colorado that don't even have any buffalo. It's different tribes. They use them because they're in Colorado.
So that would be Grand County, Utah, next to Montezuma. And I do know a Grand County commissioner pretty well, but Uinta Basin, I don't.
yeah, I think it's the commissioners that are neighbor to us because that's the county that need to be working with and see what role they've got in because there's Utah state, as I understand it, there are Utah state bison.
Yep,
And then there are tribal bison
correct.
next to each other, and we need to know what their plans are as they're expanding numbers.
Right, because the way that they keep those two separated is by hunting them. And they do a pretty fair job of keeping them separated, or they would be one big group.
And I think not only hunting, just to add really quick, but they also do kind of like our horse gather, but they keep them separated with helicopters too, from what I remember of Utah. When Utah came to that very first meeting that you and I went to a few years back, Utah talked about that and trying to keep those separated, those two bands.
Well, I guess my point is that if we get a herd in Colorado, that's where it's going to come from. Those herds are gonna come across. So we do need to talk to them, I guess.
I think it'd be helpful to, Utah's Game and Fish has been really successful in the way they manage this, in my opinion. They have, I think they called them roundtables, but it included all forms of representation around the same table, including the tribe. So I'd like to advocate to CPW that they lean on their neighbors to the west to try to help guide them in this management plan, because I think a workable solution exists. I think there's other conversations that need to be had about what it could look like to have a cross-border herd management area. Wildlife movement doesn't stop at borders, and I don't think that habitat in East Douglas down to Mesa County and close up to Moffett County has adequate habitat or acreage to accommodate any significant number of bison. So probably some stakeholder meetings coming this fall.
And is Scott Robertson involved in those conversations? Because a lot of that's his land.
Tyler, his son, was at that last meeting. So I'm sure one of them will attend. There hasn't really been any conversations. This update I'm providing to you is all in passing with staff that I know at the commission meeting. I don't think anyone's in a hurry for this, and I think that's okay. So my feelings won't be hurt if we don't hear that they're scheduling any stakeholder meetings this fall.
I just don't want us to get hit butt,
Yes,
which is what they're famous for.
I think we'll be okay on this one.
So in addition to Scott, I know Theus's would like to be a part of that.
Okay.
They were initially, and they did not know of that last meeting that we attended.
Oh,
So
really?
Rich or Tony Theus need to be a part of it. They've got sheep permits out there too.
Okay. I think, Lynn, we could push it out pretty aggressively when that gets scheduled. And it sounded like, I should add, they perhaps want to reconvene the working group from a few years back.
Right, and that's what I was just thinking. If they reconvene it, Thea should be on the
Yeah,
list.
that's the
Yeah.
one Theus needs to be a part of.
Because they were on that list. They were at those meetings. So they should be.
Somehow they got forgotten.
Okay, good to know. Some of these don't really have an update for, as per usual, but if you were at Club 20, you got a really nice update from Congressman Hurd's staff on federal bills, particularly those related to NEPA. I won't go into detail, but big picture wise, I'm keeping an eye on 7 total that are all relative to our public lands in the NEPA process. Just know I'm keeping an eye on those. They have not moved. I don't know that I anticipate them to go anywhere, but nonetheless, they are all out there. The ones I'm keeping an eye on all have to do with expediting mostly fire-related work, mitigation or response on public lands, but they're kind of just hanging out in the Senate in particular, as bills tend to do at the federal level. So, more for awareness. So maybe you've heard of Initiative 308, sales tax on sportsman goods for conservation projects in Colorado. The districts locally, we partnered with CACD, where CACD was working pretty closely on this and submitted public comment to advocate for some of the funding for this existing sales tax on sporting goods materials to help fund conservation districts and conservation district projects that are already doing conservation work for wildfire, forest health, and outdoor rec on the ground. So the 2 districts locally, we submitted our own letter to legislative council staff on Friday, and we will see what title board does with that, but we haven't seen any updates thus far. Ooh, here's a big one. You probably saw the preferred alternative released from the Bureau of Reclamation on Colorado River Management. I know Commissioner Scritchfield, and I think for sure Commissioner Overton, you were CC'd on an email today, and Commissioner O'Haron, if you were not, let me know. I didn't see you on the list, but Alden sent out a really nice email from the Colorado River District that explained this really well. I think it's a start, but it kind of somewhat feels like the can was kicked a bit down the road on some determinations here. I think what is good about the preferred alternative is it does say the lower basin states need to make some reductions in what they're drawing from Lake Powell and Lake Mead. So I think it's a good start, but I think any outcome is going to result in litigation, and this is going to be a long road unless suddenly our conditions of supply suddenly improve over the next couple of years, which I don't know is on the horizon. So if you haven't read Alden's update yet from the River District, I strongly encourage it. It really helped me digest that final EIS.
I appreciate you cutting it down to a
It was very helpful.
amount here. Thank you.
It was very helpful. Back to wild horses. Just so you're aware, PBS is out and about. Lynn and I worked pretty closely with PBS to get them connected to some of our local stakeholders that have been working on wild horses. And I think this week, if I remember right, they're out with Rocky Mountain PBS with Scott, Troy, this week or next week? This week. So more to come there. I'm looking forward to hearing from Scott and some other folks on how that experience was. So, and I think that is, Unamas. Rich Garner and I are working on some recommendations for Crooks Park. I've got a lovely manila folder in my office from Miss Vicky that is all some historical records on water, I believe, in Crooks Park. And I'm going to get What's that?
It's everything.
It's everything, and I need to read it. But Thursday, I'm going to get with Betty to kind of talk about some historical uses over there with the 2 hand-drawn springs. See if we can't figure out what exists already in terms of agreement, and we'll go from there and provide you an update. I think Rich and I are going to get some recommendations from BLM if they have any, but bring forward some recs to you on pretty minimal development on the campground. But as far as Crooks Park goes, as you know, a lot of it is still in terms of what's determined to be done and what funding will be available for that project. Nothing is 100% certain, but it is our field office's intent to do work on county ground, funded by their dollars at this point, but no guarantees, obviously.
Right. And I have let BLM, I think it is, know, please actually State Forest Service. I know I was talking to Matt. Please
Okay.
let them, I mean, if there's any kind of funding need that they need, we need to know ASAP.
Okay.
So that we can budget for that for next year.
Okay, good.
And so as I told them, if they're gonna do work on county property and if they need additional work, I'm not gonna say we've got a lot of money for them, but as Vicki has expressed to us several times, it makes sense for us to get some dollars on the ground for mitigation.
Mhm.
And I think that's a good spot to start. If that makes sense to you all. So anyway, just let them know, but we need to get that in the budget this year if they want assistance.
Maybe I called BLM today and left a message. I know their staff's pretty tied up
I
and
say I'm
busy.
sure they are.
If Shane's not out in the peons, he's on a fire somewhere.
I say, yeah, exactly. Horses and fire,
Yeah.
part of those WWs.
It might be worth me following up with Matt on that.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do that after I get done here. That would be good, because I haven't really talked to him about that aspect. So that is all I have. I'm sure about halfway back to my office, I'll think of something else, but
I do have a question.
Yes.
So I attended a meeting last week, called Modernization Initiative, where they are opening up coal leases on public lands. And so I attended this meeting that they had publicly opened up for public comment in Denver. I wasn't able to be there in Denver, but I did get online to this meeting. And it talked a lot about fair market value. And that's how they're basing how they approve a lease. So they had 8 leases or 12 leases, and out of those 12 leases, 8 of them were approved. The two of them that weren't approved were based off of this fair market value that however they put in their bid. It didn't meet a certain threshold, and I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because it was a whole new concept for me.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this floor and they have this ceiling of, and it was like a minuscule amount of like $100 on each side that if they didn't go over or under, they did or didn't get this approved, this lease. So I don't know if you've heard of any of this, but I again, it was new information to me.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of controversy in the public comments about this fair market value because they don't release what the fair market value is. They won't release that to anybody. The federal government keeps that information to themselves. So when the RFP goes out or that lease applicant goes out, they're guessing because they don't even know, like they're just having to guess, basically is what it sounded like to me. And so they said, I mean, one of the public comments was, if we could know what that fair market value is,
Mm-hmm.
we could base what we put in that lease for based off of that. So I did my research and I was like, well, why aren't we just using oil and gas, how oil and gas leases are done? I mean, I don't know if they're the same concept or not. So I got on a NACO Public Lands call to Gregory Nelson and Zeke Lee at the federal level to say, what do you guys know about this? And they didn't know anything about it. And so I stumped them, who are the experts, And they said, we are gonna have to look into this. We've never heard that question before, because I said, why are we using the fair market value? And we just denied a Board of Equalization based off of that yesterday. And the more common sense to me is the oil and gas lease methodology. And they said, it sounds right, but we don't know, so we're gonna have to go do our research now and get back with you. So I just didn't know if you've heard anything about that.
I haven't, no.
And I said, the reason that I'm asking these questions is we actually have an application in at Desirado Mine, because they're trying to expand Desirado Mine, which is the LM application has been submitted. And is this same lease process the same as that application? And they didn't know that answer either. So they're supposed to get back with me on a couple of different questions that I had. I said, because we need to make sure that application gets done during Trump era. We just need to make sure that application gets approved. Bottom line for Desirado. That's my stake in this game. And so I just wanted to see if you knew anything, and as soon as I get those answers, I can certainly come back to you and give you that information.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Whatever you get back from the NACO folks, please forward to me.
Okay.
Cause I'm unfamiliar and I would have assumed it would have been just a lease sale like oil and gas.
It's a completely different formula.
Interesting.
And again, it's a little shocked that the federal government is, especially because Trump is on this energy ban. And so how do we get a hold of Trump to say, listen, move over to the oil and lease? It's a lot easier.
Or something.
So anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention, since it is a couple of lines things.
Well, and I wonder if Reese could touch base with James here locally to see who the state level person is, to see if they could give them some insight. State BLM, oil and gas /
Yeah.
what energy folks.
I may reach out to Jeff too.
Comstock.
Yeah. He may know a lot about it too.
That's a good thought.
So I'll start with him. And then I'll send a note to James knowing that he's gonna be pretty well occupied for the next month and a half, but
Well, what I think he will do is just give you a name of the state.
at the state office. Okay,
State BLM office.
perfect.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about that because I would have assumed it would be the same for oil and gas. And clearly it's not.
So thank you.
Very welcome.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry, Rose. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Reese, if that doesn't work out, I have a contact pretty high up in the state, in the Federal Department of Energy, that might be able to help us track this down.
Cool.
Or Congressman Hurd's office might be able to help us track this down too.
That would be another good resource. Yep.
Okay.
That would be a good resource. I'll start with Jeff and go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All righty. Any other staff updates?
Did you have any more? Did you
Do
get?
you want me to do stuff?
Yes, if you want to, any of that would be just fine.
Sure. In your inbox is a letter for you all to review, which we can do after. And if you all approve that letter, we'll do a quick whole that can be sent out. And so my one budgetary item, we'll talk a little bit more about airport operations with Eric in executive session. But one of the things I want you all to consider as you're going through budget right now is if you all change directions. So one of the points that I need is we have an airport attorney that is working on an FBO agreement and management agreement, potentially consolidated into one agreement. If you all are going to move into another direction, I would like direction from you all to ask him to maybe pause, just in the interest of time and money, right? His time and money, so that we can get it to where you all want it to be. So that's one question. And then the other question, or the other thing for you all to think about is if eventually you maybe change directions, you might have to lean on that airport attorney a little bit more. And so maybe we can have a conversation. It may not be now. I just wanted to throw it out that potentially having some dollars set aside for that airport attorney might be beneficial. I know it's beneficial for me, but I've committed to FBO agreements and lease agreements and all that. But if you're going to need him on an ongoing basis, and it's so niche that it's not necessarily something I might be able to advise on, you all might consider potentially putting some money set aside in the budget for that type of need. So just wanted to throw that out as you're all thinking about budget.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Alrighty. Vicki, anything pressing from you? We haven't got any other report and so forth.
No, because we'll do our Wednesday update, I believe, so.
Yep, we're good for that. Only tomorrow. Okay. Alrighty, moving on then to commissioner updates. Who would like to go first?
You want me to go first?
I don't care.
Go ahead, Doug.
Just meetings, directors meetings. I did go over the coffee. That talked about water, where we had the water commissioners over, and that was interesting to hear some of the stuff that was going on with water, the community. CNCC workshop for the trying to work out some stuff with the airport, Board of Equalization and Wolf Coalition meetings. That's what I did.
Alrighty, thanks. Yes, ma'am.
In the same boat as Doug, meetings. So directors meetings as well as DHS public health directors meetings, administrator meetings. I did attend Club 20. Attended some meetings with CDHS. I did attend a meeting with CCI, and where we put together what we're calling the Road and Bridge Working Group. And the hot topic of our conversation was House Bill 26-1430 and Initiative 175 and how those two could potentially impact each other. So we were working through and/or CCI is asking for some comments from commissioners on that Initiative 175 and how that could or couldn't impact us. It was also talked about at Club 20 pretty extensively, and the pros and cons of each of Initiative 175. There's actually even a town hall on Initiative 175, I think August 13th, if I remember correctly. I unfortunately can't attend it. I'm actually triple booked that day. So I did want to attend it and listen to it to see how it could impact us, but their logo, I think, not for a word, but just that, let's keep our roads maintained, basically, is what 175 is trying to accomplish. So just if you have any input on 175 and you want me to make that to this working group, just let me know if you have some comments and I can add those to.
When is that work session or the?
We had
house.
it, and we haven't set up another one yet. So
The house or whatever you mentioned.
it's August 13th. It's actually on Club 20's calendar is where I saw it. The town hall is, and I believe it's August 13th at 9:00 if I remember correctly. Let's see. Attended a special meeting. I sit on the Colorado System of Care Leadership advisory group that's about mental health, behavioral health, and how we need to put in different systems and recommendations that we're giving to ICPUF on how to better handle that and getting more beds for our mental health facilities is what that comes down to. I attended another CCI meeting that we are partnering with Amazon Business, and I had texted Vicki and asked if we had Amazon Business, because if so we're doing a partnership between CCI and an Amazon business where we can get free, what do you call that?
Amazon Prime.
Thank you.
Mhm.
We can
Never
get Amazon Business Prime, which is to the tune of $3,400 and something. And we can get it free for the next couple of years, and potentially even longer, depending on how often we use Amazon Business Prime, what we use it for. And so really what it comes down to is they're really wanting to hone in on what are we buying? What are we looking at? But if we can save ourselves $7,000 and so I did take pictures of the codes, and I couldn't do it because I didn't have our account information because they walked us through it on theirs, but the lady that did it, so I'll get with Vicki and give her all the information and get us signed up for that so that, I mean, we're already using it, we're paying for it. So if we've already paid this year, this is the other thing, if we've already paid this year, then they'll prorate it and give us a refund on the remainder of the year. And
I will let you know on that.
I just want to make a comment on that. We need to be very careful and try and support local people as much as we can.
I would agree.
We can buy it local for a reasonable price to do so.
I would be curious to know how much in a year's time do we spend on Amazon Prime? I would be curious, like during budget, if I would like to have that information. Based off of Doug's comment, because I agree with Doug, local as much as possible. Attended lunch with Dr. Jones through at CNCC. I did that coal modernization meeting, Board of Equalization, and that's it.
Alrighty, thank you. Both. So I spent some time continuing to work on the Basin Roundtable's bylaws, because I'm determined that we're going to keep that as equal as we possibly can between the counties. So our next Basin Roundtable meeting, those in Rio Blanco County, I hope are on the call to vote and keep it equal. So I don't know that I made any headway with the chair, but I think we may just need to have the votes ready when it comes to the meeting. So my goal there is, so what I'm talking about it is, so the 3 counties belong to the Basin Roundtable. And my goal is to keep it so that there isn't any one county, whether it's Rio Blanco County or one of the others, get way heavy with numbers of seats. And so right now in the bylaws, it requires that they stay pretty equal, and they're wanting to take that piece out. And I'm a little uncomfortable with that.
In other words, they could end up with a whole bunch of representative out of another county. We end up with 2. So it's touchy.
So attended Club 20, so the transportation, education, energy, business, water, public lands and natural resources, and ag committees. Club 20 has a lot. So all of those committees where we talk about policy stuff and have some really good presentations. Was it fair setup? I was excited to see the number of people and the turnout of volunteers this year. Last year, we did a lot of actually moving panels and stuff. And in the main indoor arena, they had so much staff, people, and particularly kids, we didn't help there. So was over in the other side and hope to help that be a little more speedily for next year. I did get it all drawn out, and I will share that, Vicki, with you, that layout. Got that all drawn up, and I'll share it with the fair board and everybody else so we don't lose track of that. We had a leadership workshop. I'm pretty excited about the potential for leadership training for our directors, leadership, and so forth. Either this fall or coming year. Also, I've finally gotten signed up for that AI class, so I'm doing that. That's two hours each week, plus all the online stuff. In the water talk too, I really appreciated Betty and Lynn doing the water talk here, had a good turnout. I was glad Doug and I showed up because I don't think there would have been many questions if we hadn't have been helping guide the conversation. Wolf calls, lots happening in the wolf world. They're right now the wolves are taking their toll on livestock. They had been pretty mellow throughout the summer, but right now I think they named 4 different locations that are pretty heavily impacted. CPW is talking about lethal removal on one of them, even though I think at least 3 of them have hit the 3 and 30. And Rio Blanco County is not immune because we've got some sheep that have been killed in our county too. So.
And the director is trying to fight the lethal take and haze them south. That's
In
her,
some cases.
That's her answer, is to haze them out of an area. That's not going to work.
Well, and I don't disagree with that, but I also, as somebody brought up there on the call, the concern, because we don't want them to introduce anymore. We're right there at that threshold of 50 wolves. If they lethally remove too many, that gives them that much more ammunition to bring more in. So it's a lose-lose situation. Speaking of which, this evening at 5 o'clock is the CPW Commissioner Open House of new Commissioner Becky Niemrich, who is a professor at CSU and self-proclaimed wildlife knowledge person that chooses to override CPW staff. So if I can, I will join that call just to listen. The other thing, just a quick update, I did get to have a conversation with Kyle very briefly this weekend at BLM because I knew he was really busy on horses, but the update on the fencing, for burned fencing, they have 1.9 million for fencing materials and labor. Right now, the challenges is all in the contracting stuff and how they're going to get it distributed. So they are working with a nonprofit to get it out, and I totally agree with that. They don't have the staff to administer it here locally, and besides that, if you keep BLM, if they have to do the contracting, they have to jump through 15 more hoops than they can't do if they can just get it to an NGO. They're trying to use Mule Deer Foundation, who they've got big contracts with in the past. And so I'll stay in touch with him to see if we can help, if it's hung up somewhere, we can help move that a little bit faster, because the sooner we can get that on the ground, the better. We've got permittees that are going ahead and trying to build their own, and there isn't anything BLM can do to come back and reimburse them if they move now. And so they just need to understand that. And Kyle feels terrible, but he's a one-man shop trying to push a rope uphill, and I hope that everybody gives him a little grace. Especially this next month, because he's busy removing horses. So, all right, I think that is all that I have. So if we could move back to our action item number 4. We would like to go into executive session for that. So can we just hold off on that, Rose, and go into our executive session and then come back? And if we decide to make a decision, we can do it then after learning more.
Yes, Madam Chair. So my suggestion is we go into an executive session for airport operations generally, to have some conversations that I will provide some potential legal options for you all. And then when we come out, you all would have to make some sort of decision. So whether that's to table, remove, or approve, there will be a decision on action item number 4.
Perfect. Okay. Therefore, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Madam Chair, I move to go into executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024B for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding specific legal questions on the airports.
Airport operations.
And what?
I would just say airport operations.
Airport operations.
Generally.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to go into executive session. If we could have roll call, please.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm sorry, for executive session that you need to do the actual names.
Oh, sorry.
Nope, you're good.
Overton,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hare.
Very good, thank you. So it is August 4th and it is 2:54. For the record, my name is Callie Scritchfield and I'm presiding officer as required by the Open Meetings Law. This executive session is being electronically recorded. Also present at this executive session are the following persons, be the three commissioners, O'Haran, Overton, and Scritchfield. Vicky,
Edwards.
Edwards, thank you, Vicky.
I'm the new girl.
New girl.
Rose Puglisi, and we would like to have Eric join us as well. So, Paquez, thank you. I caution each participant to confine all discussion to the stated purpose of the executive session and that no formal action may occur in the executive session. If at any point in the executive session, any participant believes that the discussion is going outside the proper scope of the executive session, please interrupt the discussion and make an objection. This is an executive session for the following purposes. And it is, here we go. All right, there it is. 24, CRS 24-6-4024B. Again, specific to airport operations.
This is Rose Puglisi, County Attorney. Because this executive session involves legal advice, I'm advising the board that no recording be kept and the recorder be turned off.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Ready if you are. Yes.
Yep.
Alrighty, we are back, and I would entertain a motion to exit out of executive session.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we exit the executive session pursuant to CRS 24-6-4024B for the purpose of receiving legal advice regarding specific legal questions.
Do we need to do a time?
As of 3:43.
As of 3:43.
It's fine. Otherwise, Commissioner Shushat could.
I second.
Alrighty, we have a motion to exit our executive session at 3:43. If you would please call the roll.
Overton,
Aye.
Scritchfield.
Aye.
O'Hairn.
Okay, so with that being said, okay, so because we didn't do the recording, I still read all this?
You do, so the no
Always
recording
ask
is
you
the recording.
I always ask you that. Sorry, it just seems weird.
No, it's good.
I hereby attest that this recording reflects the actual contents of the discussion at the executive session and has been made to satisfy the recording requirements of the open meeting law. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you please state your concerns for the record at this time. Hearing none, I will provide the tape to the clerk to retain for a 90-day period. It is now 3:44 and we have concluded the executive session and we return to the open meeting. And our next agenda item is back to action item number 4.
Madam Chair, I move to remove a letter from Colorado Northwestern Community College, CNCC, requesting removal of airport management duties from the September 16th, 2024 intergovernmental agreement between Rio Blanco County and the Colorado Northwestern Community College for the management of the Rangeley Airport 4B0.
I'll second that motion.
So a motion and a second to remove action item number 4. Any other discussion? If not, if you would please call our roll.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay. With that, is there any other business before the board?
I have a motion.
Okay, what would the motion be that you would like to make, sir?
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. Thank you. Adjourn
I understand that.
the commissioners meeting today at 3:45.
I second the motion.
Motion and a second to adjourn. Would you please call the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much. Now I sit down.